Hey guys, it's Jennifer. Just wanted to come to you today and go over a quick overview of what my coaching program is all about, okay? One of the things I always forget to tell people is how they can work with me. And I've noticed the last few days there's been quite a few people actually asking me about like the program and how it works. And so I just want to quickly go over the basics of the program. I'm going to cheat and bring it up so that I can actually show you and kind of go through step by step what some of the modules are and how we work with them and those kind of things. Okay, so the first thing that I feel like is always important is one of the biggest things I can tell you is that I try to help my clients align their intentions with their actions. And I apologize because I'm going to pull up my the program itself so that I can walk through this as we go. So if you followed me at all, you know that kind of my whole platform is called Embodied Grace, right? What does that mean? Well, Embodied Grace is going to be different for everybody, but it's how can you bring in that feeling of grace in your life? How can you dance through life, right? Because that's really what I wanted in the beginning of this. For me, it was like, God, it just felt like life was such a struggle. Like everything was hard. And I just wanted to be like Ginger Rogers and just dance gracefully. Okay. So that was where Embodied Grace comes from, is just having that graceful life where you can just walk through life, enjoying it, walk through life in peace, walk through life in that graceful way. So that being said, I've kind of narrowed it down. I went through my own process of how I came to this place in my life, and I'm going through it all a little bit at a time. I'm going to be different than other coaches that you may have worked with, because one of the hardest things that I had to deal with was everybody would say, oh yeah, just do this and it'll change your life. Great. But how do you do that, right? So I'd like to dive deep. I like to get in there, but then there's also a little bit of a spiritual, well, not even a little, there's a lot of a spiritual aspect to this because we are spiritual beings. So we're here in this earth, on this planet, being humans, and there's a spiritual part of it that everybody seems to be lacking. Now, not everybody, but most of the people that I work with, it's like, once you finally make that connection, oh my God, it makes such a huge difference. And it was huge for me because some of you already know my story that I actually have always been psychic. I was born that way. And I was trying to reject that with every fiber, like everything in me was like, no, I can't be psychic because of all the things I, had heard. And I can't even say that I learned it in church because I don't know that anybody ever told me in church not that I couldn't be psychic, right? And of course, now there are churches out there who do teach prophecy. They understand that it's one of the spiritual gifts. And so it's not quite of a taboo thing as it was when I was growing up. But for me, it was really scary. Like I thought that I was going to go to hell because I was psychic, right? Come to find out, that's not even what it is. I have this divine spiritual gift. I have this connection that realistically we all have. It's just how tuned into it we are. So that being said, going through the program, I always look at everything completely as a whole, right? You can't just have the spiritual and the woo-woo, which is wonderful. That'd be great if that's what it was, but we're human. We've got to be on this planet. So we've got to figure out how do we bridge those together to really create a life that we want to live, to really get to the good, juicy part of life, right? The fun part, the part that was graceful, okay? So when you go through my program, one of the first things that we're going to cover is understanding the way your brain works. Like your mind has all of these amazing qualities in it, but it also can keep you stuck in not being able to have the life that you want. Because, for example, like learning that don't touch a fire because it's hot, it's going to burn your hand. That's a really good thing for your subconscious brain to retain and keep, because you want to learn not to do that. However, if you've been hurt or if you've tried something and failed, your brain is going to tell you don't try again because you might get hurt, right? And we all know that isn't true, but it really ingrains that much into us. So in the very beginning of the program, we really go into what are you thinking? Like, what are your thoughts about? Where is your basic default, like operation mode, right? Because we all kind of have these paradigms and programs. And so it's like, where is that for you? Where is that showing up? Where are you at? So then we start uncovering the limiting beliefs and the negative thoughts. And we're like, okay, let's figure out what are these thoughts? Like, where are they in there? Like, where are they? Why are they? All of those things together. And once we kind of dig into the limiting beliefs, then we kind of get into more of like, okay, where is the wounding? Because we've all been hurt, right? Where have we been hurt? Okay, can we forgive that? Can we release it? That's a little deeper in the program. But in the beginning, it's learning to talk to yourself in a better way, because we've all, I think almost everybody, and sorry guys, but I call it the nasty little mean girl, right? We all have that nasty little voice that tells us, I don't think you can do that, or what makes you so special, or whatever the things that we've been taught, right? So it's getting to the basis of those limiting beliefs and figuring out how to really work with them, because that's not true, because God made us these amazing things, right? We are these amazing beings that God made, that obviously if God made us, we're wonderful, right? So that was a huge thing for me to finally grasp that and get it, that, you know what, God made me, so I should give myself a little bit more credit. So it's finding that space within yourself where you're like, you know what, maybe I am worthy of having this really cool life. So then once we dig into the limiting beliefs, we get really into the inner resistance. Like, where are you in the self-doubt? Where are you in fear? Where are the anxiety things coming up, right? All of that stuff has to do with releasing resistance, because again, we've kind of been trained into certain patterns. Now, probably the hardest part is the forgiveness. Like, we really dig into, where do you need to forgive others? Where can you forgive yourself? And that seems really daunting and really big. But when you get to the basis of it, it literally means letting go. Seriously, forgiving a debt, letting go, wiping the slate clean. It doesn't mean that you're going to forget what somebody's done. It doesn't mean you're going to forget the lessons. But when you truly forgive, it actually energetically releases and allows things to open so that you can create new in your life. So forgiveness is huge. It's not to be overlooked. It's very, very important, but it's definitely one of the hardest things in the program. Then we start getting into understanding your true worth. Okay, we've got to get really, really true and honest about our personal beliefs about whether or not we think we're worthy. That one was huge for me. Once we get past that, we start actually designing your success, right? Like, so what kind of a lifestyle do you want, and what are the action steps that we can get into it? So that's really kind of where the good part gets in, because we're like, okay, now we got through some of the blocks and the BS that was holding us back. So now let's really create, what would an embodied grace lifestyle look like for you, right? Because it's going to look different for everybody. So what for you would be, if you were to create a life that you totally loved, what would it look like? So then we start, once we get past like learning the steps of what's really holding us back, then we can really get into creating what we want in our life. And that's where it's really, really awesome and juicy. But that's kind of a quick overview of what my the Embodied Grace coaching program is all about. Let me know if you have more questions. I have it set up in a group situation, so it's super, super easy to join that. Everything's online, so you can do it at your own pace. I'm trying to think some of the other questions I have. But anyway, on my website, there's a place that says, let's chat, book a call with me. Let me know if you want to learn more about the program. And I'd be happy to chat with you and dig into it a little bit more. But that's a quick overview. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, one more thing. I always forget about this part too. If you don't want to do the coaching program and you just want to get the divine messages that I do, hear the card readings that I give on Mondays, if you just want that part of it, I totally have an option for that too. On Patreon, I now have a channel where I give channeled messages. Usually on Mondays, I do a Monday weekly kind of feeling out the energy for the week. And then even within that, I have a membership program. So if you want to go just a little bit deeper into your own spiritual gifts or learning about how to connect with your guides and those kind of things, I have a membership for that as well. So basic Patreon, where you just get the messages, is only $5 a month. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can join my Embodied Grace community membership. It's called the Essentials membership group, and it's where we get together on calls a few times a month. There's a lot more information again on my website, but we have like a monthly spiritual gifts development call. And then we have a couple of like just ask me anything calls. We have a private secret Facebook group that nobody can find. So if you need to ask questions in there, that is only $49 a month right now. So jump on that if you're interested in that. Again, if you aren't sure, just book a call with me. We'll talk about it and see from there. And then I'm also for right now just offering a really quick, like a bonus for a few people a month, where if you do $77 a month, it gives you a complete discount. That's even more discounted than just a reading with me. You get the membership and a half-hour call every month. So check it out. And again, those are all the ways that you can work with me. I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know if you have any questions. And again, we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Have a great day.